Good morning to you all. Am I audible? Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you all hear me?
Yes,
Hello.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me? Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All three class, that is E, F, H, if I'm not mistaken, all three class students are there. So have you got the message? Class තුනම කට්ටිය ඉන්නවද මේක කොහමද? I send the message across. Okay, right. So we finished the economic environment part. So we move on to the global environment. Okay, so I'll ask Yahansa to read that part.
Globalization in the mutual relationship among countries in terms of economic, social, and cultural dimensions. Globalization facilitates the conduct of business activities freely without any cross-border or any other restrictions. Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Due to the advancement in information and communication technology, the entire world has now become a single global village.
Please do underline, due to the advancement in information and communication technology, entire world has now become a single global village. Can everyone underline that part from your textbooks?
Goods and services, labor and capital, etc., are moved between countries by reducing the distance among the people in different countries. Therefore, exchanging different factors of global environment will have both positive and negative impacts on domestic businesses.
Please do underline the advantages or positive impacts on global environment. Please underline obtain latest technology, obtain quality raw materials, obtain efficient machines, inflow or influx of capital, foreign capital, and then you can purchase foreign goods. Probably you can figure out some potential export market for the domestic goods and services. So that's a kind of a positive aspects of global environment. Since I'm using Zoom, not a Sri Lankan product, it's basically the foreign because of the global environment. So we can use those softwares and facilities. We can use the latest technology. When it comes to the garments, the fabrics we can obtain from the China. So it's a quality material. Yeah. There are so many positive factors contribute from this global environmental, good global environment. On the other hand, the flip side of it, the negative impacts. So it's very competitive. The local companies might not be able to compete with the foreign suppliers. So in that case, the demand cannot be sustained, so that they might end up in a loss-making situation. Probably they might wind up their businesses. And skilled workers can migrate to different countries. Nowadays, it's happening. So most of the people, because of the economic impact, the downfall of economic impact, people might find jobs in potential countries if they are capable. There is a big demand for them. So in that case, they might move to those countries. Inability to existence of domestic business instability. So because of that, the foreign involvement, the foreign people they probably compete with the local environment. So in that case, the low cost producer, let's say for example, so nowadays from people who invest some money in the free trade zone, they might relocate to the different locations, probably China, probably India or Bangladesh. And the cultural impact, it's very kind of a cultural impact is very, very severe. Sometimes they might change our culture, so it might have a potential detrimental factor in future. So these are the plus and minuses come from global environment. And please try activity 1. You can Google and figure out the exchange rates. Everyone, please do try. Finished? Suri, can you tell me the answer for the dollar exchange rate? You go to any bank site, you can get the answer. Anyone? US dollar roughly 355 or 360. British pound. Sorry. Okay. I'll ask Janani. British pound 455.56. Yes, good. Japanese yen 2.7 or 2.8 between 2.7, 2.8. Indian rupee INR
4.57.
yeah 4.57. Euro 374 or 372 between. Right, good. You need to write activity 2. What are the various incentives provided by the government to the businesses? I'll give you 10 minutes time. So just write in a point form, what are the basic incentives provided by the government for the businesses? So I need the answer by 9:23. Okay, last, Isha. What's the answer? Veronica and Inu.
So I wrote providing infrastructure
Providing
facilities,
infrastructure, very good. Providing infrastructure facilities, extension of highways, correct, good.
financial help,
Financial
and
help in terms of,
um,
so probably you might give a loan from government banks at a concessionary rate. So that way you can provide some kind of a justification. Good. What else? Come on. Others?
technology,
Government. Incentives by government.
Offering freelance, tax credits, and low interest financing.
Yeah, low interest financing or concession financing. Yes, correct. Good. And tax concessions, tax holiday period. Tax concessions, they might charge a low tax rate compared to other or a normal tax rate. That's called tax concessions. Probably for BOI projects, government might give you 10-day tax holiday period. So whatever profits they earn, they don't need to pay any taxes. So that's called tax holiday period. Samanati. Others, feel free to talk.
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, so tax abatement is the same thing, right?
Yeah, same thing, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Offering grants.
Very good. Very good. Offering grants, because if they want, let's say, for example, solar systems, so government might also contribute some investments, or probably they might offer grants. So they will motivate to promote to do that sort of a business or business segment. Come on.
Marketing assistance.
Marketing assistance, yeah, through Chamber of Commerce, they might provide some sort of a potential customers, their database, or foreign customers, their database. Very good.
Tax revenue sharing.
Sorry, again?
Tax revenue sharing.
Tax revenue sharing. Normally that's called a grant. Okay, so the government might collect the taxes and then they give you a grant for the specific business segments. What else?
Enhanced capital allowance.
Yeah, capital allowance in a tax seeking. Yeah, fiscal policy. Yeah, that's correct.
Sir, I saw something about remittance tax. What is it?
Remittances tax. There are, let's say, if you're getting a foreign, let's say, if you are a foreign subsidiary and if they declare dividends for the, let's say, for example, MAs. So MAs mass holding, so they might have operations in India and Bangladesh. So in that circumstances, from the Bangladesh venture, so they have some stake in Bangladesh. So being a parent company here, and the subsidiary company may declare dividends from their profits. So that belongs to the parent company because that is the one who have the ownership of that particular venture. So in that case, when they remit that dividends, the government might charge taxes on that remittances. That's called remittances taxes. Nowadays, Sri Lanka won't charge any remittances taxes because they need dollars. Are there another thing answers? Anyone who has a different version of answers? Okay. Right. We'll move on to the importance of studying environment of a business. Last. Hirunika, can you read that part? 2.4.
Yes, sir. Importance of studying environment of a business. Every internal and external environment factor mentioned above will have an impact either positively or negatively to businesses.
Please do
The
underline positively and negatively. It's very, very important. And
Businessmen
it says
are
internal and environment. Sorry. Internal and external. Do those underline those two elements? Yeah. Go ahead.
So, can I continue?
Yeah, sure. Yes, sorry.
The businessmen are required to study the business environment in order to identify these conditions. The strengths and weaknesses of a business can be identified by studying the internal environment. The strengths can be used to grow a business, whereas weaknesses are to be minimized. The following are some steps for strengths and weaknesses of a business.
Yeah, just give me a minute. So here, by looking at the internal environment, you can figure out easily what are your strengths and where you are really good at, and what are your weaknesses that you are not that much strong. So let's say, for example, when you study 9 subjects, so you might really good at some subjects like business studies or what do you call mathematics or English or whatever. So some subjects you might identify some weaknesses, let's say singular subject or some literature kind of a thing. So it depends on the what you are really strong at, the numbers, and if you can memorize. So likewise. So when it comes to the business, so if you are having a good entrepreneur where he can focus and he can easily identify any opportunities, he can make use of it. So that's kind of a strength. But if you have a labor force very lethargic and they don't think positively, always come with complaints kind of a thing. So in that case, you consider that one as a weakness. Clear? So by looking at the internal environment, you can figure out whether it's a strength or weaknesses. So if you go through the components of internal environment that we learned, you have 3 components. They are the owners, managers, and employees. So you can take them as a strength, or you can take the same components as weaknesses. Okay, so just identify how logic it is. So if the entrepreneur is having a strong financial background and they have business knowledge and the experience in doing the business, then it's a plus point. If it is opposite side, it's a weakness. Clear? So that's how you figure out whether it's a strength or weakness. Okay, go ahead, yeah.
Strengths: availability of adequate capital, experience of managers, specialized knowledge and dedication of employees, specialized production methods, having a recognized brand name.
So please do underline. Yeah, please do underline adequate capital, experience of managers, specialized knowledge and dedication by the employees, and specialized production methodology, basically lean production, the need nowadays they're using. And if you have a strong brand name, it is considered also as a strength. Yeah, next.
Weaknesses: business knowledge of owners is not sufficient. Limited financial capability of owners. Scarcity of trained workers. Knowledge about new technologies not being updated. Negative attitudes of workers. Geographical location of the business is unfavorable.
So these things are considered as a weaknesses part. Clear? So negative attitudes of employees, the knowledge of the new technology is not updated. If they're using the very old technology, so then they cannot move forward. And if you don't have much trained workers, if they are not, if they have some sort of a lack in skills, so that is considered as a weaknesses. So these come from your internal environment. And the internal environment you can easily figure out whether it's a strength or weakness. Okay, I'll ask Dulakshi to read the remaining part. Come from opportunities, threats from external environment.
Opportunities and threats available for a business can be identified by analyzing external environment. Hence, the businessman can exploit the opportunities and face the threats successfully. The following are some examples for opportunities and threats of a business. Opportunities: changes in the lifestyle of consumers, introducing low-interest loans by the government, providing tax incentives for businesses, designing new cities, constructing highways. Threats: new competitors entering into the industry, natural disasters, imposition of international trade embargo, difficulties in adapting new technological methods. Clever businessmen continuously pay their attention on the internal and the external environment of a business. A business can exploit its strengths and opportunities.
Sorry for this. Your class monitor is asking to rename your proper name that you're using in the class, and as well as you need to indicate what class you are in your login name so that they can mark the attendance.
Thank you so much, sir.
Please excuse me a minute, sir.
Sure.
Sir, can I talk to Tadisha for a minute?
Sure.
Yeah.
I marked the attendance, Tadisha.
Did you?
I marked the attendance.
Thank you so much, Tiduni.
It's
Sorry, sir.
Sorry. අනික් ළමයි පන්ති නමත් එක්ක දාන්න, otherwise your monitors might not be able to, because there are 3 classes joining. So make sure when it comes to the login, for that they need to mark the attendance, so you need to specify what class you are really in. Okay, thanks. Right, you can continue.
Okay, sir. A business can exploit its strengths and opportunities to achieve growth in the business and take necessary steps to minimize or avoid weaknesses and threats to ensure the business stability.
So remember, you from your external environment, you are exposed to kind of a threats, and as well as you can exploit the opportunities. So what businessmen they do is they exploit the opportunities and try to limit or reduce the threat exposing them. So for that purpose, they make use of their strength and they convert their weaknesses into threat so that they can easily adapt for the threat they are exposed to. Clear? And please do underline, business can exploit its strength and opportunities. To achieve the growth of the business and take necessary steps to minimize or avoid the weaknesses. Then let's say, for example, you're weak at mathematics, then what do? There are certain ways that you can improve your score. So you do some kind of a strategies to get more results from your mathematics. English, different subjects. Weak subjects, you do some remedial action so that you are coming to your comfort zone. Okay, please try activity 3 and please take 10 minutes time and figure out, you need to identify a business, and from that particular business venture, you need to identify strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Please try, I'll give you 10 minutes time. Everyone, please attempt. There is not a kamak na, just attempt. Anyone who finished? Marsha, have you finished? Anyone who finished? Yeah. Sensa, yeah. Senasa, sorry.
So I chose the garment factory.
Okay.
The strengths are having adequate capital,
Okay.
having experienced managers, and
Mhm.
having a recognized brand name.
Mhm.
Weaknesses, business knowledge of owners is not sufficient. Knowledge about new technology is not being updated. Negative attitudes of workers.
Mhm.
Opportunities, introducing low interest loans by the government, changing the lifestyle of consumers, providing tax incentives for business. Threats are new competitors, natural disasters, and difficulties in adapting to technological methods.
Okay, good. Anyone? Any other student? Anyone who wrote the answer? Indicating the name of the business is SWOT. SWOT. Minuri Bandar.
Yes, sir. So I chose the coffee shop.
Mhm.
Strengths are experienced, diligent manager, friendly staff, quality ingredients, community partners, strong brand recognition. Weaknesses are high debt, heavy workload, lack of knowledge in specific languages to communicate with foreigners, a limited number of staff members. Opportunities are online sales to reach a broader market, could partner up with the coffee shop next door, changing the lifestyle of consumers. Threats are parking restrictions, competitive businessmen, and cost of technology investment.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Any other? The හැමෝම ලියන්න ඕනේ. Yeah? I'm checking the books once we have the class. Anyone? Kavindi?
Sir, I'm still writing my
Okay.
answer.
Janani? Saumya?
Name of the business, Kiosk. Strength, hardworking employees, understanding customer requirements correctly. Weaknesses, scarcity of trained workers, limited amount of goods to be sold. Opportunities, located at the heart of the town, abundance of customers with financial capabilities. Threats, located near to targets.
Good. Good. Okay, so that part is done. And so activity 4 and 5, I'll give you as a homework, so you need to try. Okay. Okay, shall we move on to chapter 3, business organization? Please write this down. Topic, business organization. When the population of a country increases, the process of manufacturing and distribution goods and services expands. So please do underline the process of manufacturing and distribution of goods and services expand. Therefore, different types of business organizations are established in order to fulfill needs and wants. We already learned needs and wants. The business provides goods and services to fulfill their needs and wants. Okay, so it can be either be individual or group of individuals working together to produce goods and services required to fulfill needs and wants. So different parties provide funds to the business. So namely, it's called owners. Okay? So owners provide resources to the business. It can be financial resources or any other resources. The owner can invest rupees or dollars into the business, or he can invest stocks or his motor vehicle into the business. So what is the purpose of investing the money into the business is they need a return in terms of profits. And for that investment, they are exposed to a risk. Okay, so what do you mean by risk? Risk is the deviation from the expectation. You expect you might get a profit, but you might end up in a loss situation. That's called risk. Clear? So entrepreneurs are willing to take risk, and that's why they're investing in a business ventures. Yeah. In addition, the business are conducted to achieve different objectives of the businessman. In order to accordingly, some businesses are carried out to earn profit, whereas others are carried out for the well-being of society. So you have two objectives. Number one is earn profits, and the other social welfare. Can you underline those? A further businessman can start either a small scale business. So please underline small scale business or large scale business. Depending on this resource requirement, and out of different types of business organization, businessmen should be clever enough to choose the appropriate type. So business are classified based on 3 different parameters or the criteria. Number one is based on the ownership, objective, and scale. Ini highlight karagan. Ownership, objective, and scale. I'll ask Kavindi to read. Classification of business organization based on the ownership.
The owners are the individuals who provide funds for the business and assume risks by involving in it. The owners enjoy the profits earned by the business and bear the losses of the business as well. Accordingly, business organizations can be categorized as follows based on their ownership: private sector business organizations, public sector business organizations.
Please do underline that part, public and private, based on the ownership. And please do underline profits earned and bear losses or incur losses. We continue. So here, please go through this chart. Here you broadly divide into 2 sectors based on the ownership, public and private. So private, you have sole proprietorship or sole trader, partnership, incorporated companies, corporate societies, and other associations. Public, mostly the government business organization. They broadly classified into a central government and the local authority or local government institutions. So they are termed as a department, state corporation, and state companies. To get that idea, you have two broadly divided into 2 sectors, private and public, and what are the business organizations under private sector and what are the business organization under public sector. Right. Read that part, Joe.
Private sector business organizations. Businesses owned by an individual or a group of individuals are known as private sector businesses. Private sector businesses can be further classified as sole proprietorship, partnership, incorporated companies, cooperative societies, and other associations. Public sector business organizations. Businesses funded and owned by the government are public sector business organizations. State departments, state corporations, state companies, businesses registered and owned under provincial councils and local government institutions are the different types of business organizations in the public sector.
So please do underline funded and owned. Government will fund it and government will own. So ownership lies with the government or their local agents. Next, based on objective. Can you read the based on objectives? Yeah. Bihari.
Different organizations are established to achieve different objectives. Businesses are also conducted by its owner to achieve an objective. Businesses can be classified as follows based on its objective: for-profit businesses and non-profit, not-profit businesses.
Please do underline that one. Objective is to earn profit, or objective to not to earn profit, or basically they continue their business for the social welfare. Okay. The profit motive business and further divided into two sectors, private and public. Private are sole proprietorship, partnership, and incorporated companies. Public, only state companies. State companies, they have an objective of earning profit. Not-for-profit organization that can be broadly divided into private and public. The cooperative societies and other associations, clubs, and those type of things will be considered as a not-for-profit organization. Okay. In grade 11, you have a accounting part for these as well. So basically, they run for their members' welfare. Okay. In addition to that, public, state corporation, department, which we take the examination department these days, very key topic for the O-levels thing. So everything is coordinated from the Department of Examination under the Ministry of Education. Okay. So state corporations and state departments, they don't have any profit motive. Their objective is social welfare. Cooperative societies and other associations under private sector, even though it's a private sector, they work for their betterment of the members. Yeah, not for the profit. I'll ask Savindya, NH. Can you read that part?
When the main objectives of the business is to earn profits, they are known as profit-oriented businesses. This type of businesses are operated under both private sector and public sector.
What do you mean by profit? So just write it down. Profit is equal, revenue is more than the expenses. Revenue is more than expenses, you derive with profit. The difference is profit. Revenue, if revenue is more than your expenses, then you derive the profit. If it is other way around, you incur losses, you bear losses. Right. Continue, yeah.
Not-for-profit businesses. The main objective of these businesses is to ensure welfare of members and the society. Not-for-profit businesses are also conducted both under private sector and public sector.
Next one.
Classification of business organizations based on the scale. The scale of a business organization depends on different criteria. Some of the criteria used are as follows: amount of capital invested in a business, number of employees, amount of the energy used, market share of the business.
Okay, please do underline these things that can be tested for your MCQs most of the time. Amount of capital invested, number of employees, amount of energy used, and the market share they have currently in their business. You do underline those. Continue.
Based on the scale, business organizations can be categorized into two parts: small and medium scale businesses, large scale businesses.
Okay. So small and medium and large scale. Okay, continue.
Small and medium scale businesses. Different institutions have identified different criteria in classifying small and medium scale businesses. Accordingly, businesses with a small amount of capital invested, with a small number of employees, and having a small market share relative to large-scale businesses are known as small and medium-scale businesses. For example, businesses employing less than 25 employees according to the Census and Statistics Department are considered as small-scale businesses.
So please do underline businesses employing less than 25 employees. That will become under small scale businesses. Next.
Large-scale businesses. Businesses that have invested a large amount of capital, have employed a large amount of employees, have a large market share, and have the ability to influence a respective industry are known as large-scale businesses. For example, a factory employing a large number of workers.
Okay. So they have large amount of capital and large number of employees, and the market share is compared to small is high. So they can influence the respective industry as well. Okay. Right. I'll ask Binuli, can you read the sole trader or sole proprietorship? Situki?
Business owned by an individual are known as sole proprietorship. This is the most
It's okay.
This is the most common type of business organization in almost all the countries in the world. This type of business organization is common because it is easy to commence, requires only a small amount of capital, and can take independent decisions. The success of this business depends on the skills and dedication of its owner.
Okay, please underline. Yeah, please underline. Owned by an individual. Owned by an individual. You need to underline that part. And easy to commence and small amount of capital and take independent decisions. And success depends on the skill and their dedication. It का highlight करेगा. Right. Continue.
Characteristics of proprietorship. The following characteristics can be seen in sole proprietorship. Capital is provided by a single person who is the owner. The owner is required to find the necessary capital for the business individually. Savings or borrowed funds by the owner can be invested as the capital to the business. Profits or losses to be borne alone. All the profits earned by a sole proprietorship belong to the owner. Also, if there is a loss, the owner should bear it alone. Unlimited liability of the owner. In a sole proprietorship, the owner's liability is unlimited. Accordingly, the liability is not limited only for the capital that had been invested. In order to settle liabilities to the business, the owner might require to use his priorities external to the business, and there is no limit for such commitment. No legal personality. A sole proprietorship cannot conduct any legal operations by its business name. It can do so only by the personal name of the owner. For example, entering into contracts, purchase of vehicles, obtaining bank loan, billing cases should be done in the personal name of the owner. Now, continued existence. Due to such reasons as the death of the owner, being mentally unsound to conduct the business, etc., the business operations of a sole proprietorship will be discontinued. Now, mandatory to register. In general, it is not mandatory to register a sole proprietorship. In addition to the above mentioned characteristics, there are some other characteristics to a sole proprietorship, such as the ability to take decisions alone. Controlling is done by the owner, and owner has the opportunity to discontinue the business at any time he requires.
Okay, stop. Please stop. Okay. Right. So now, so this is basically one person business. So one person runs the business. He will take the decision. He will be probably the manager, sometimes the decision making, and he will enjoy the all profits. And in any case, if you end up with the loss situation, he need to bear that loss. Clear? So the features are the capital is provided by a single person who is the owner. So owner is required to find necessary capital. Probably he might have his own savings, or probably he might borrow one of his friends or relative, or probably their parents. So that is the way that they open up any kind of a business as a startup. Another feature, the profit and losses to be borne alone. So if you get any profits, that entirely belongs to that particular owner. If it losses, he need to bear such losses. Now we come to the very important part, unlimited liability. What do you mean by unlimited liability? If something goes wrong with the business, and let's say you obtain a loan from a bank, now assume if your asset is not enough because of the loss-making situation, if your asset is not enough to pay such loan, you need to bring your personal wealth or personal properties and you need to settle that money. Remember. So let's say, for example, you invest 100,000 and you obtain a loan from rupees 100,000. So altogether, the total amount of money you have is 200,000. Now let's assume you are your business is not much giving profit. It's accumulating losses. So in case if the bank asks money, so you can settle up to the money you invest 100,000. But let's say, for example, you don't have that money, it's already exhausted because of the cumulative losses. In that case, you need to pump your personal wealth and pay your liabilities. So that's called unlimited liability. Your liability is not limited to the money you invest. It can extend further to your personal wealth as well. Okay. It is not limited to money you invest. It may extend to your personal property. That's called unlimited liability. It's දාපු සල්ලි ටිකට විතරක් නෙමෙයි ඔයාගේ personal properties වලටත් ඔයාගේ liability එක extend වෙන්න පුළුවන්. It's called unlimited liability. No legal personality means in the eyes of law, please write it down. In the eyes of law, sole proprietorship business is not considered as a separate legal person. Not considered as a separate legal person.
Sir,
Yeah.
can you repeat it, please?
Yeah, okay. In the eyes of law, sole proprietorship business is not considered as a separate legal person. Yeah, in your writing books, yes.
Thank you, sir.
And then no continued existence means, let's say, for example, due to the death or insanity or mental, if it is mentally unsound, then that leads to the end up of the business. The business operation can be curtailed. Okay? So you cannot ensure the going concern ability of the business. Business එක run වෙන්නේ ඕනට මොනවා හරි හරි. Most probably it's not be 100%, but I would say 80%, because he is the driving factor for any business. And not mandatory to register. Normally you don't need to register as long as you have your own name. If the business name is your full name, then you don't need to register. Then write it down, advantages of sole proprietorship. So advantages කියලා කියන්නේ මේකෙන් එන features වලින්ම තමයි advantages ටික create වෙන්නේ. හරිද? So write it down in a point form. Easy to start or convenient to start. Easy to start. Number 2, all the profit belongs to the owner. All the profits belongs to the owner. Privacy of business information is secured. Privacy of business information is secured. Ability to use own skills. Ability to use own skills at the best.
So
And
can you repeat that?
ability to use own skills at the best. Independent decision making. Independent decision making. Disadvantages. Other features ටිකම එනවා. Disadvantages. Unlimited liability of the owner. No continued existence. No legal personality. Difficulties in raising capital. Difficulties in raising capital. Sometimes individual decisions can go wrong. Marsha, can you read the advantages and disadvantages in detail, even though you wrote it in a simple form? Binodi?
So from the
Yes,
advantages,
correct. Yes.
advantages of sole proprietorship business. Sole proprietorship ships have following main advantages compared to other types of business organizations. Convenient to start, since the legal requirements are minimal and the cost of establishing is low compared to other business organizations, it is easy to commence a sole proprietorship.
Please do underline legal requirements are minimum and cost of establishing is low. You underline that from your textbook. Yeah, go ahead.
All the profits belong to the owner. All the profits earned by a sole proprietorship are enjoyed solely by the owner. Privacy of the business information is secured. Since all the management and administrative activities of a sole proprietorship are usually done by its owner, it is less likely that the business information to be transmitted to external parties. Ability to use own skills at the best, since all benefits accrue to himself, the owner renders his skills and dedication at his best to achieve the growth of the business. Independent decision making. The owner can take decisions quickly since all the decisions regarding the business are taken by its owner himself.
Disadvantages.
Disadvantages of sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship have following main disadvantages compared to other business organizations. Unlimited liability of the owner. The owner is personally liable for all the debts of the business. If the level of debt is higher than the value of all the assets of the business, the owner must sacrifice even his private properties to pay off debts. Difficulties in raising capital. The financial strength of an individual is limited. In addition, it is difficult to raise capital from external parties such as banks due to the higher level of risk involved in sole proprietorships and due to the unlimited liability of its owner. No continuous existence. The business operations of a sole proprietorship could be discontinued due to the death of its owner or owner being mentally incapable. No legal personality. A sole proprietorship does not have a legal personality. Therefore, all the legal activities of a business have to be conducted under the personal name of its owner. Individual decisions of the owner can be unsuccessful. There is a possibility that the individual decisions taken based only on the knowledge and experience of an individual can become unsuccessful compared to collective decisions.
So we finished the sole trader business part. I don't want to move for the partnership because it's a different venture. So what I suggest is to just read this part. And basically some features are common for the sole trader and some features may not. So read the entire chapter. So probably next week we can finish the partnership and incorporate companies and as well as some other elements as well. Okay. So in addition to that, so you have let's try activity 1 pertaining to sole trader business. Okay. So just do this one as a homework. Any doubts or concerns? ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද මොනවා? You can ask anything. Okay. So I'll stop with that and stay safe, and we'll meet probably, I don't know, the next days, maybe, yeah, next week we might do another class. Yeah, and if you have time, just download some model papers or past papers. So just try the past papers from chapter 1 and chapter 2 if possible, if you have time, so that you have some sort of understanding about these things. Clear? Harry?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll stop with that and see you on next week. Okay, then stay safe. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Stay safe, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day, sir. Thank you, sir.